Hernandez Sammy. My friend's VAWA was denied because he remarried while his VAWA was still pending. Is that normal? No, it's not normal. Anita Nelson, Uncle Brad, please, I have two questions. One, when an officer mentions investigation, when do you think they will come? Because I work at night and come home. They don't tell you when they're going to come. I don't know. Number two, please ask our Stokes interview. It's been 4 months now. When do you think we will hear from the officer? If you passed your interview, you should hear within 4 to 6 months. If you didn't pass your interview, it's going to take a lot longer because they have to write a decision. So the longer it takes for them to write you, the more unlikely it is, unfortunately, that you passed. That doesn't mean you didn't pass. I'm just saying more unlikely. What does it mean if I received a work permit under VAWA through a green card holder? Does it mean my VAWA is approved? No, it does not mean it's approved. It means you got a work permit. Why? Because maybe you filed an adjustment application because the priority dates are current for F2A category. Maybe it's because you already have the VAWA approved and you did a C31 work permit. If your work permit says C31, that means your VAWA was approved. You still have to file an adjustment. If it says C9, that means you just have a pending adjustment. It's not necessarily that your VAWA was approved. Will low-income housing affect your citizenship? No, it's not. My friend got a letter of intent to deny to prove a bona fide marriage. His U.S. citizen spouse had contacted ICE and reported the marriage as fraud on the immigration website, but he filed a VAWA. Will that affect his VAWA application? His previous lawyer didn't send the letter to notify them as he stated she would. Well, if the spouse says it's a fraudulent marriage, it could be just retribution and additional abuse. So just because the spouse says it was a fraudulent marriage doesn't necessarily mean it is when you were filing a VAWA, provided that they had never interviewed the spouse before you filed the VAWA. I just want to know that I am on the family visa F3 row. Please tell me when the public charge will apply on me. Is it before the visa interview abroad or after entering the U.S.? Your expert answer will be very helpful. Thanks a lot in advance. God bless you. God bless America. Mohammed, it applies when you go to the immigrant visa interview. To get the immigrant visa, you have to prove you will not become a public charge. Hi, Brad. My daughter is a U.S. citizen. She filed an I-130 for me, October 2019. It was approved last week. I live in Trinidad. What should I expect now? You should expect to get a choice of forms and pay a fee and then do the affidavits of support. And then hopefully sometime next year when the pandemic is over and the planes are flying and Trump is done with this 60-day ban, you should be here. Hi, Brad. I'm in Nigeria, but have U.S. citizenship. Can I apply for my mom's green card? You can, but again, Nigeria has a ban. But by the time your mom gets an interview, it will be more than a year from now. If your mom's in the U.S. and she has a visa, that would be a lot easier because you can adjust your status here. That doesn't apply to the ban. The ban only applies to people in another country. Hi, Brad. I am waiting to be rescheduled to take my oath ceremony. I filed for my daughter in February of 2016, and she was approved in February 2017. I paid all the fees for her. So can you please tell me how much longer will it take? She will be 25 years old. Brad, you are doing a great job. Well, if she's in the F2B category, it's going to be about 2 to 3 years. If she somehow is still in the F2A category, which I don't know under the Child Status Protection Act, I would only be able to tell if I saw your I-130 approval. But if she's in the F2B category, it's about 2 to 3 years. But if somehow she's Child Status Protection Act, then she should be eligible for a green card shortly. CIA West. Hi, Uncle Brad. My son gets food stamps and health insurance. Will this affect my widow petition? No, it should not. Hi, Brad. I filed VAWA in April 2018. I received 3 prima facies, but the decision has not been made on my case yet. Do you have an idea why? Yeah, they're really backed up. Eventually, you'll get an RFE, but the fact that you got prima facie would lead me to believe that you have an approvable case. My priority date is 10 September 2019. My petition is at the Texas Service Center, and they are listed to be reviewing cases for October 2019. I submitted an inquiry and was told my case is not qualified for an inquiry. Could you help me to understand why they said this? I don't know why they would say this, because if they have passed your date, you should be able to send an inquiry. So I don't know why they said this. You should certainly give me a call and we can follow up and see what the problem is. Good afternoon, Uncle Brad. How long does it take to get an I-130 to be approved? It depends on who's filing for you. There's a lot of different people who could be filing for you. Sometimes I-130s take 6 months. Sometimes they take 6 years. Depends who's filing for you. So tell me who's filing for you. Do you partner with a PI law firm for personal injury? Beuma, we are a personal injury firm. Watch Bradshaw Live. Have you seen the great results that Moshe the bulldozer Baruch gets? Have you seen David Moreno? Have you seen David Levy? We have an awesome PI practice. Absolutely, you can call us. I don't have to partner. We are. My friend went for an interview in December. It was good, and they gave her a paper saying review case in 120, and that time passed and no updates. What should she do? Write the officer a letter and start harassing the officer. What's going on? Tamara Ramdeen, when can I see you in person? I like to have face-to-face consultations. You got to ask Governor Cuomo. I don't know when they're going to allow us to open our office, but we will be doing phone consultations for quite a while still. So I'm happy to help you. We can do it by phone. You don't need to look me in the eyes. I'm going to tell you the same exact thing by phone, or if you saw me in person. Trust me. Hi, Mr. Brad. My question is, does the charity form affect getting a green card? The form is similar to Medicare, only that it lasts for 6 months, has to be updated every 6 months. The form is concerning healthcare and not public charge. I'm not sure what charity form you're talking about, but if you get charity, that's not public charge because you're not getting anything from the government. Brad, is advanced premium tax credit health insurance considered a public charge? I don't believe it is, but I would need to see specifically what you're doing. They did the interview in early December and he filed VAWA after, but he has evidence of abuse. Will the letter to deny affect his VAWA application? If there's evidence of abuse and there's evidence that it was a real marriage, it doesn't matter what the other party to the marriage said, this other spouse said, so don't worry about it. My son did his interview in January in Jamaica. He got his immigrant visa. He's 20 years old. He's going to be 21 this month. His visa expires next month. Can he still come after his birthday? And what if the visa expires before he gets a chance to come here? I'm a U.S. citizen. As long as he comes here before the expiration of the visa, he's fine. Even if it happens after he turns 21, there's Child Status Protection Act. So he's perfectly fine to come in after. Let's just hope the planes are running. Jerry Stewart, since the 60-day ban, will the I-130 application submitted by permanent residents for spouses underage child be processed? Yes, they will be. And if the I-130 was approved and the I-765 and the I-45 was denied because the I-864 was not submitted, do I have to file everything over, meaning the I-130? No, if you have an I-130 approved, just file the I-765, the I-131, the I-864, and the I-45, but be careful. How do you know what kind of green card I will get if my marriage is more than 2 years despite never lived in the United States? You're going to get a permanent 10-year card. You will not get a 2-year card. I was married to a U.S. citizen. My lawyer sent my VAWA in April 2018, and in December 2018, my I-45 form. I received my EAD C-31 on March 2020. Is the EAD category C-31 mean that my VAWA case is approved? It does. It means your VAWA was approved. You still have to wait on an adjustment interview, but you are 90% of the way there. Congratulations. Jerry Stewart with a question. If the beneficiary has a bachelor's degree in education, does it add any value to the I-130 petition that was submitted on his or her behalf? It does not add value to the I-130. It adds value to the affidavit of support to show that you will have an education and therefore more likely to be an employable person. When filling out the I-45, what is your current immigration status? It has changed since your arrival. If you came on a visitor's visa and overstayed, what should you put? Your current immigration status is visitor's visa, and where it says, and it should say expiration date, and it expired already. Your 6 months expired. But your status is still, you're an overstay on a visitor's visa. That's your status. My I-45 case updated to case ready to be scheduled for interview. Can I do the I-693 medical now or wait 60 days before the interview? Wait to get the interview before you do it, because I don't want you to do it and then it expires. So just because your case is ready for an interview doesn't mean the interview is happening right away. It could happen in 9 months from now. If I have a pending asylum case, but I got married and I file a combo card, can I travel with the combo card and an Iranian passport? Yes, but not to Iran, because if you go back to Iran as an Iranian asylee, you're saying, oh, now that I got it, it's safe to go back. You're going to have a problem. You can't go back to Iran. You can go somewhere else, obviously, but not to Iran. Brad, how long does it take to get EAD as a K-1 applicant? You're not going to get an EAD as a K-1. Once you come as a K-1, you get married and file the adjustment. That's when you get the work permit. Now, I know the law says you're entitled to an EAD for the 90-day period you're here on a K-1 visa, but it takes over 90 days for them to issue it. So the reality is you don't get it. Is insurance provided by employer considered public charge? No, it's the opposite. It's good for you. A, you have health insurance, and B, that shows you work for that insurance, AJ. So when an employer gives you health insurance, part of your compensation is health insurance. It shows you're working for that. It's not, you're not getting it for free from the government. Can you extend your O1 with a pending adjustment of status through marriage? I don't think my EAD will arrive until I want to have an employment. I don't want to have an employment gap. Yes, you can. I have my 2-year card. My husband wants to file for divorce and report the marriage as fraudulent. Will this affect me getting my 10-year card? Well, getting a divorce will not affect you. Your husband saying that it's fraudulent, you know, unless he has evidence to say it's fraudulent, usually that's just an aggrieved spouse. As long as you get divorced and you can prove you and him live together for a period of time, you will get a green card. You are the captain of your boat. Don't let him scare you. And you can give me a call, obviously, at 1-800-529-5465. That's 212-227-8933, 1-800-529-5465 if you want help with that. Would I be considered a public charge if I receive unemployment while going through adjustment? You will not be a public charge as long as your wife or your spouse is working and you have a good affidavit of support from somebody else. How long do I have to wait from the moment I receive my EAD C31 March 2020 to the interview or get a green card? Will I be able to renew my work permit C31 if the green card does not arrive on time? Yes. Usually it's about 9 to 12 months for an interview. Well, Brad, I submitted an RFE for the I-693, which is the medical form, on December 16th, 2019 in Federal Plaza. It's been 5 months. How long more will it take to get my green card? My I-360 was approved in November 2019. Hopefully not much longer. If they ask you for your medical, that means they're looking at your case right now. So hopefully just weeks or a couple months at the most. Hi, Brad. If your mom's birth certificate was left off the petition I-130, is that a major issue? If the I-130 was left off, they have the right to just deny you or RFE you, which is a request for further evidence, and ask for it. Hopefully they RFE you. As a green card holder, can I adopt my niece back home? I was the one taking care of her since she was born. Her mother is mentally disabled. Be very careful adopting somebody back home if you don't have legal guardianship of them and you have not lived with them for 2 years. Also, there's different laws depending on for adoption, depending on whether you're in a Hague-related country or a non-Hague country. So there's lots of things that can trip people up with adoption. So I do not recommend just going to do an adoption before you talk to lawyers. My wife's I-45 has been denied in 2013, first as a public charge. The new I-45 filed in 2018, work permit advance parole issued, but the I-45 was denied and the I-29B was approved. And also a new I-601 was denied. Help. Yeah, help is right. You've been doing this for 8 years now. Help. It sounds like your wife needs some sort of waiver. I don't know what for. Come in and see me. Filed the I-130 for my mother and father. It's in the National Visa Center stage. How does the ban affect you? It affects that the parents of U.S. citizens cannot enter the United States with green cards until the ban is expired. We're about 30 days into the ban. Let's hope it does not get extended. Quite frankly, it's quite, what's the word I'm looking for? Self-dealing in the sense that Trump's wife, Melania, was able a year and a half ago to file as a U.S. citizen for her parents. That was perfectly okay. And the Trumps were extraordinarily happy that the parents came, and they had a big thing on the news that the parents came. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. But no one else can file for their parents now. What does IOE mean on letter received stating your priority date? IOE? I have no idea what IOE means. Will they likely waive the I-45 interview during coronavirus for family-based son of U.S. citizen? They've been waiting for an interview. It's likely they could. It's likely that they would now. What happens if I can't travel within the time my visa expires? I can't travel due to the pandemic. It's a problem. A lot of people have that problem. I don't know what the embassies are going to do when they open, but they will obviously have to do something. But I don't have the answer for you yet. We'll have to see. If VAWA green card holder stays outside for 3 months before citizenship, that time would be included or excluded? It's included for citizenship. The laws for citizenship are you have to be a permanent resident for VAWA who are married to U.S. citizen for 3 years and 18 months in the country out of those 3 years, no trip out of the country more than 4 months. I have a joint sponsor for an adjustment of status. If I amend my taxes to be filed jointly with my husband, would it be enough to not need a joint sponsor? No, because you cannot use income that you earned towards your sponsorship unless you were employed legally in the United States for at least 10 years. Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.